I don't have to say shit. I don't have to say anything.
Did you shoot that gun? Where did you shoot it?
When a crime has been committed...
Did he hit her in the face?
There could be a gun up here anywhere.
Detectives must first identify a suspect.
He's covering his face as he goes past it.
Got this girl here, still looking back as she walks away. Yeah, that is bang in the middle of the crime time.
Next, they must search for rock-solid evidence.
The offenders were wearing balaclavas.
Gun is crucial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Juries are told you must be sure, but it's so difficult to hit that test.
Then they must put their case to the test, face to face with the suspect in the interview room.
You often sit in a small room, no more than 2 or 3 feet between you and the person who has raped, murdered, burgled, stolen. It's a little bit of a game, I guess. Chess, poker. You move one piece, they move another one.
Will the evidence stand or fall? Will the suspect tell the truth, or will they manage to hide it?
They will do anything, say anything. We are lied to frequently. They can muddy the waters in any way they want.
Some noises and says it's for a cook.
This time, detectives face a suspected armed robber facing years in jail.
First of all, we're just going to talk about burglary. 2 men entered this property, they kicked the back door in, went into the house, pinned the lady to the bed, threatened her with machetes, asking, where's the car keys, where's the safe, where's the guns, where's the cash? Did you threaten that poor old lady, or did you threaten to chop her arm off?
Richie, how are you?
I'm all right, mate.
June 2019. A series of armed attacks have been reported over a single evening.
Hello guys, you alright?
First 2 offences are the robbery of the Mini and the possession of the knife. The second incident we're looking at is the possession of the firearms, where he's chased the farmer shooting the guns.
The violent rampage began when a woman was attacked in her car by 2 men, one armed with a knife.
Norfolk Police Emergency, go ahead, caller. Is that the police? Yes. I'm on Guernsey Road and a car's just been stolen off of a lady. 2 young guys just got straight into it. Yeah, is she okay to speak with me?
My car wasn't locked because I hadn't started the engine yet. And then the one got in the passenger seat with a knife.
I heard screaming, I ran round the corner and they were pushing her off of her car. They had a knife. She was holding onto the door and they were driving away.
3 hours later, the stolen Mini turns up near a Norfolk village. A farmer's family hear gunshots nearby and go to investigate. They discover 2 men armed with a shotgun. As the family confront the men, they open fire and start to chase them with the gun. The family manage to escape. But the stolen Mini gets stuck in a field and the 2 men can't get away. So they smash their way into a nearby house and, at gunpoint, steal the keys for another car.
They put a firearm, they've taken my car, they smashed the front door, there's glass everywhere, they fired a firearm, I don't know who they are. They fired it into the house. 22 years I've lived here, nothing has ever happened like this in my entire life. Yeah, I can't go. Is somebody coming?
It's an absolute miracle no one's been killed. So if I get the sequence of events right, they've tried to get in, they've been forced back, they've stuck the shotgun through the gap in the door, shot it into the ceiling.
Correct.
They've smashed the glass to then reach in and get the keys to the Passat.
Exactly.
The investigation will be led by Detective Sergeant Dan Hedges.
It's so important in the early stages. You do worry that if you don't work hard and fast, you won't get that evidence. You know that person is out and about and could cause untold harm to others whilst you are carrying on that investigation.
The police have been hunting for the second stolen car, a black Passat.
Is this the car you're talking about? Yeah.
And they find it, abandoned. Less than 100 meters away, a man is acting suspiciously, trying to gain entry to some flats.
Step out this way. Step away through the door. Just about here for me, please, sir. Open the bin. Step away from the door.
No, facing around that step away from the door, you madman.
Keep your hands in your pocket, step away from the door.
He fits a witness description of one of the suspects.
Right, before you get in my car, put some handcuffs on you quickly. All right? You're not under arrest.
When his possessions are searched, the police find evidence to link him to the crimes.
The bank card is to Tesco Club Card Bank.
The bank card belongs to the victim of the carjacking of the Mini.
What holiday?
That makes the man, Rashal Alam, a potential suspect.
Rashal Alam is someone who is originally from the London area but has settled in Norfolk. He has come on our radar for drugs.
Alam also has a previous conviction for a firearms offence. The detectives now have one suspect, but they need to find the identity of the second man involved. And they get a possible lead. An off-duty detective spotted a well-known local criminal, Christy Cartman, just moments before the Mini was hijacked, close to the scene.
These are the two offenders. That's Mr. Alam, that's Christy Cartman, and they're just walking past the Tesco's. And as they walk past there, that's John, who's just come off duty, and he does a double take because he's clearly seen Christy Cartman, and he's just double checking just to make sure that is who he's seen. Just see the other angle. So you can see his knowledge of the camera because he's covering his face as he goes past it, so he knows it's there, so he's clearly trying to hide himself.
Christy Cartman is a character we've known for a while. Dishonesty offences, thefts, and burglaries and stealing.
He is a career criminal. He tended to do industrial or business burglaries. So he knows what he's doing, he's not stupid, he has experience.
With Cartman now a suspect, the police track him down to a flat in Norwich. A full firearms team is called in. Since Cartman may still have the shotgun and could be prepared to use it.
Christy, keep yourself nice and calm. I want you to come to the door with nothing at all in your hands.
Please, I'm not arguing yet. I can't find the key. I really can't find the key.
Christy, listen to me now, yeah? Listen, if you don't find the key in the next 2 minutes, we're going to have to come through that door. You've got 2 minutes, my friend. Christy, yeah?
I found the key.
You found the key. Right, get into the door, please. Come, Christy, straight to the door now. Nothing in your hands. No, Christy, listen. Christy, we have been fair, giving you that time. Now come straight to the door with nothing in your hands. Christy, come out of the door. Christy, come out of the door now. He's just showing himself at this window. He's now coming to the door. Christy, come to the door. Stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there. You got his hands? Let's get him off here then, and then we'll go for the search.
While the suspect, Christy Cartman, is taken to custody,
Are you right there?
officers search the flat for weapons.
Go on right, mate.
My room?
Clear right, clear
Clear
left.
right.
It's clear.
Touch on any weapon if we find it.
Yep.
Thanks.
Right.
Right. My room. That is fucking busy. There could be a gun up here anywhere.
Okay, matey.
Just stand by.
And eventually, a shotgun is found, hidden behind a water tank. Two suspects are in custody. Now, the detectives must search out the truth and find evidence to prove it before they confront the two suspects. Rashal Alam and Christy Cartman must both be interviewed within 24 hours of arrest, then either be charged or released. So the detectives need strong cards to play when they confront them face to face.
First interviews are going to be really crucial. And it's going to be a really important part of where this case goes. The planning and preparation is key. We're looking for evidence that links us to people discharging a weapon. We're looking for evidence that connects people to vehicles or locations, but actually we don't know what that is. That may be something left behind, some CCTV, it could be anything.
Detective Lee Mariner is pinning down the chain of events in the village where the two armed attacks took place.
Just want to see the location, the distance between where the firearm was discharged and where the Mini was discarded. So down here is Blackford Hall Farm, which a witness describes that they're on this lane going down to the farm in the Mini when they're challenged by the farmer, and somewhere around here the Mini's been discarded after it's obviously got trapped in the mud. Yeah. They've obviously left on foot, straight down there. So you see in the distance, we've got the 30-mile-an-hour signs going to Stoke-Holy Cross just up there. It appears, obviously, over there they've discharged the firearm, discarded the vehicle, the Mini, after being challenged by the farmer. It makes me think that they actually walked down this road into the village and not through the field. They're clearly looking for transport out of the area, sharpish, with the gun, possibly loaded. Anyone could have been driving down here. They could have probably stopped the whatever car was coming. You know, there could have been children, elderly people in the car. Imagine being confronted with that. Then to break into this house and shoot the firearm in someone's house is just incomprehensible, really.
As well as the shotgun, items have been recovered from the stolen cars and the crime scenes. The forensic results won't be ready in time for the interviews with the two suspects. But Dan has obtained police dashcam footage from the response car that rushed to the scene. It might have captured their faces as it came within inches of stopping the second stolen car.
It's dark. The vehicle here has done the right thing, slowed down, because this could be a member of the public. So they've slowed down to let it pass, and almost at the last moment, they've realised it's a Passat, and it bears the index of the Passat that's been stolen. They've bumped it, but that's as much as they're able to do. Can't see a face at all. In daylight, you'd have been able to identify the offenders, and that's great evidence. It's just unfortunate that it's dark and it's in an area that's got no street lighting. You're never going to be able to identify the person driving.
Any piece of witness evidence could be crucial to the investigation.
any descriptions of the males. One was Asian. One was white with tattoos. They both had their hoods up.
The farmer, who was in a very difficult situation, he had the presence of mind to take pictures of the offenders. These are the pictures. He's heard what sound like gunshots, a vehicle that appears out of place, and two people that look suspicious. He has no idea what's gone on. It is a fantastic piece of evidence. Unfortunately for Mr. Alam, he can clearly be seen. This just shows what an awareness Mr. Carman has. His first thought when he's having pictures taken is to cover his face, very similar to when he's walking past Tesco's. At least you can see he's a white male. So if he hadn't have covered his face, great evidence, wouldn't have needed to do any of the forensics. But Mr. Carman's clearly aware, knows it's very important that he doesn't get his face captured, and so he's covered it up.
Today, the detectives must confront both suspects. The stronger the evidence, the more cards are in their hands.
We've got some excellent evidence against Alam. We've got the farmer taking the photograph of Alam in that stolen Mini. Within 100 metres of where the Passat was found, Alam was arrested. Possessions with him link him to both the Mini and the Passat.
It's actually a very strong case against
Yeah,
Alan.
it's a very strong case.
Really strong case against Alan.
Cartman seemed to be a bit wiser.
Yeah.
And he has a balaclava on his head, but it's rolled up, so it's not over his face, but it's clearly a balaclava that's rolled up.
Good.
But he is, again, put his hand up, covering his face for when the cameras have been taken, so he's not identifiable from that.
Super, thank you for the update.
Cheers, welcome.
Anything more, give us a shout. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Rashal Alam is to be interviewed first. But whilst in custody, he's been spitting at officers and refusing to cooperate.
We'll interview him, but I don't think he's going to be very receptive to us. I suspect we're going to know comment from him if we can actually interview him at all. We've got some good links to show that he's really involved in the case, so that's great. We can go in knowing that we're in a really good place.
Alam refuses to come out of his cell to be interviewed, but the officers must still put the allegations to him.
Okay, so that was seen through recording. My name is Tim, detective at Norwich CID, column 509.
It's Tuesday, it is the 11th of June. Can you just state what your full name is, please? I don't know. No. Shaking your head, okay. Alright, so with the cell of Rashal Alam, so far refused to come out of the cell for anything. Your sister tried to speak to you a while ago, and you refused to speak to him.
I didn't recognize him wrong.
Do you know anything about robbery that happened on Guernsey Road at 1820 hours? That's the 10th of June, and that was the robbery of the black Mini. Is there anything that you can tell me about that? Do you know anything about that? Mr. Alam?
I just didn't know.
Okay. Were you involved in that robbery? Mr. Alam?
It's very rare that we actually get witnesses to actually photograph the suspect in the middle of an offence, so I'm happy that we have the right person already. The evidence we already have, I believe, is enough to charge him anyway, whether he makes any admissions or not. The interview with Christy Carman is different to Rashal Alam because we just don't have the same level of evidence against him at this stage.
At the moment, the odds are massively in Carmen's favour. I can understand why he wouldn't talk to us, because his view will be the police don't know nothing, they can't prove anything yet. I'm not going to give them any kind of footer to get that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say no comment.
He will know or not whether he's committed these offences. He is probably trying to piece together what we actually know and how he can perhaps come up with any version of events to show he didn't have an involvement in it.
I need to remind you that you are under caution, so you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence.
The strategy for the interview with Cartman is to cover every single element. Where was he at this time? Was he with this person? Make sure we don't miss a thing. Trying to get anything from him that can help us. If they see a particular area that the suspect is finding difficult and clearly uncomfortable because we're hitting a nail that he didn't want us to hit, then I would expect them to keep hammering that nail.
Some CCTV has been located. See if you want to take a look at it. So is that you?
No comment.
Is it not you? Is there anything obviously you can see on there that just tell me now that that is not you?
No comment.
Christy, were you in the area, but you haven't carried out this robbery?
No comment.
Because if you are, and you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, tell us.
No comment.
Okay.
The evidence here is pretty damning. You've been identified on the CCTV. I think from that evidence, I'm happy to say that you've done it.
No comment.
This is your opportunity. Okay, so we're still talking on Monday. We're now going to 9:18 in the evening and at Stoke and Holy Cross. Is that you?
No comment.
If it's not you, do you know who it is?
No comment.
So did you shoot that gun?
No comment.
Where did you shoot it?
No comment.
What was your intention here? Is there anything at all you can tell me about this gun being shot into this house?
No comment.
At this stage, a no-comment interview will probably work in his favour. He hasn't admitted to the offences. He hasn't given us any further details or any evidence as to what's happened, which means we're still in the same position where the only evidence we have is what we've gathered beforehand, and we won't still then, I believe, be in a position to charge him.
As I'm sitting here now, probably instances happening. I'm going to get the blame of them.
Well, no, and this is the point the whole way through, Christy. If you can tell us where you were at the times of these incidences, then we can rule you out, can't we?
No comment.
But you've chose to go no comment, so we can't look at alibis or put you somewhere else when we don't know where you are.
No comment.
Well, in that case, we will end the interview. It's the same day, and it is now 16:29.
Cartman will remain in custody for now on separate, less serious charges. But the team don't yet have enough evidence to charge him for the armed robberies.
We've got a really good suspicion that he's committed these really serious crimes, but we can't prove it at the moment. We need to find that crucial piece of evidence, that golden nugget. So the next time, and there will be a next time, that he sits in that interview room being questioned about these offences, we've got him.
They have elected to make no comment throughout the interviews. So effectively what they're saying to us is, it's up to you guys, the police, to prove that I have done it.
To build convincing evidence against Cartman and Rachel Alam, forensic tests on their clothing and the 2 stolen cars could be key. But with resources tight, they can't test everything.
Right, guys, thank you for coming in to see us. What we want to do is have a quick catch-up. Alan's fine. Alan's pretty tight, to be fair, isn't he?
Yeah. Alan's all right. He's not the issue.
No.
But there's got to be trying to get enough to get Christy. Yeah.
And that is our main problem at the moment. The identification was negative.
Yeah.
And so we're struggling.
So the gun is crucial, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we're still playing devil's advocate. The gun was found in an address that quite a lot of people have access to 3 weeks later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So DNA-wise, from the Mini, we'll be sending the swabs of the Strongbow camp.
Okay.
There was false plates on the front, and there was a metal screw.
So that's the Mini, that's the priority for the Mini, yeah.
I believe Christie to be the driver. We know he was the driver in the Mini.
Right.
And we know that the police officers, when they saw the Passat, the driver had a balaclava on.
If we can show that he was wearing the balaclava in the Mini, and then post Rickle Road, we can link him to the aggravated burglary with a shotgun as well. Yeah.
That's
Nice one, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
A lot of the time, people like Mr. Cartman are very clued up. When they commit crime, they're forensically aware. They will wear gloves. They will make sure they wipe down crime scenes. They will make sure they don't leave fingerprint marks. They will make sure they don't leave DNA. So they are very aware of police investigations and police tactics. A lot of the time, you'll get items back and it's a negative result. We don't know if we've picked the right ones. We could choose 50 items and the 51st that we would have sent off, we don't send off, and that's the one with all the DNA on it.
The shotgun found when Christie Cartman was arrested is a crucial piece of evidence. And Detective Lee Mariner thinks he knows where the gun came from.
There's more to this than meets the eye. These two just didn't rock up that night and start causing violent mayhem. I think they may have been responsible for a whole string of violent burglaries.
2 weeks before the armed rampage, 2 men smashed their way into a house in a Norfolk village. There was a woman alone inside. One man held her hostage with a machete, while a second ransacked the house. They stole jewellery and £4,000 in cash.
So this is where your sister was?
Yes.
Yeah.
They held her here.
Held
One
her
of
here
them
the whole
stayed
time.
here with a hand over her mouth for about an hour and a half now.
Yeah. Well, the other one
ransacked the house.
The thieves also stole a shotgun that was locked in a gun safe and concealed in a cupboard.
The gun safe was here. I think, from what I can see, this has been sawed through and taken the whole floorboard with them.
Yeah.
A gun case was found in a tree just by the armed incident with the farmer. Lee wants to know if it matches the gun stolen at the earlier robbery.
Right, so I can't take this out of the bag.
Okay.
It's got to be forensically preserved for the lab.
Okay.
All right, so is that yours?
Yes.
So was the gun inside this
Yes,
at
it
the time?
was. Yeah.
So inside this case,
Yes,
it was
it was.
inside the gun safe?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Right. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
The link makes Christie Cartman a prime suspect for the machete burglary as well. And that gives the detectives another opportunity to shift the odds in their favour. In rural areas, there aren't many phone masts. But it's still possible to track the path of individual phones as they move across the countryside.
His phone is hitting the sail mast just north of Booton. On the day of the offence,
Yeah.
they go up about 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're in that area for about an hour.
Yeah.
On that visit, and it's hitting a mast here and a mast here.
Yeah.
Now, our victim lives there.
Because that is very good until he says, oh yeah, my brother had my phone for those couple of days. I didn't have my phone. It must have been, I don't know, anyone.
Okay, cheers, mate.
We have got to prove and consider all his potential defences. How would he explain that? How can we disprove what he's saying? If we can, for example, put his phone in Booton at the time of the offence, how can we prove that he had his phone?
Forensics remain the best hope of turning the tables on Christie Cartman in an interview. And some key results have come through.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Got some more forensics back
Oh, nice. That's
on
quick.
the Rashad Alam and Christy Cartman case. The first one they've got results for is for the shotgun.
So that's the DNA, yeah.
And the DNA of Christy Cartman is found on the shotgun.
And does it say in what amount?
It does. It's a lower level of the possible contributors.
It's good, but it's in the address where he was anyway.
Exactly.
So he would just say, I'm in and around that address, and so if the gun's in and around that address, that's how my DNA got on it.
Exactly. There was a screw piece which was in the stolen number plate on the Mini. That was examined. That's a negative for any DNA.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is the swabs that were taken from the Strongbow can that were in the centre console of the Mini.
That's got to have something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the one I was really hoping for a good result on for Christy, because we always already have a lamb.
Yeah, and
and the results are on a lamb.
Oh, so a lamb.
So it's a lamb that's drinking from that one. Unfortunately, not Christy as we were hoping.
Without a doubt, I believe that Chrissy Cartman drove to Booton, smashed his way through a back door, threatened that lady with a machete and stole those guns. Without a doubt in my mind. However, we're led by evidence. At this moment in time, I can't say that he's committed that burglary, which is a shame. All we've got at the minute is circumstantial, and ultimately a defence solicitor will say, well, you've got him in the area, you haven't got him in the address. You've got that gun, but you've got no forensics linked to that gun. You cannot say that he has actually physically handled that gun. And that is our link. It's one of those things, and it's part of being a detective. It's part of what we do.
For a detective, there's nothing more frustrating than someone who you know has committed a crime walks because you haven't got enough evidence. It's happened to me, it will happen again. In this case, we're really going to work hard to make sure it doesn't.
The detective's last hope is the balaclava that was found in the second stolen car. Cartman's DNA has been detected on it, but that's not enough. They need to prove it was present at one of the crime scenes. So they need more help from CSI.
The forensic team have only got limited capacity. They've got to balance not just this job, but hundreds and hundreds of other jobs where items have got to be sent off. I have to use my powers of persuasion in order to convince them that these items should be sent off. We haven't yet charged Christy Cartman with anything.
At the moment, we have Christy Cartman just prior to the first offence, and then at the end of the offences where he's been arrested at the shotgun and the address. What we don't have is him actually evidentially linked to any of the offences in the middle right now.
So the balaclava that was in the Passat. At Lee's job in Booton, the offenders were wearing balaclavas.
Okay.
They spent about an hour in the address. The victim was pushed to the floor and she got a small cut to her lip. Didn't bleed that much, but did bleed. So what are your thoughts with regards to that balaclava and then the victim's DNA and sending that off and seeing if any of the victim's DNA is on that balaclava?
I mean, that's all sorts of long shots, isn't it?
It is.
Hold on. Let me just see what they've said about the balaclava. I mean, that tiny little cut would have had to have the tiniest little blood project that way onto someone's face.
Or, as they're pushing her to the floor,
With their face.
with their hands on the face, and then they've got to sort of take off their balaclava later on.
That's better. I just think if it's a tiny cut on a lip,
Yeah.
it's just the longest of shots.
Okay, that's fine. So we took a glass sample from Brickell Road, and we've got that.
So seizures from Christy Cartman. He's got 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of long pants and boxers, so he's obviously very cold this night.
So my proposition is to send off those items for glass samples, please?
You're always asking for extras.
I know, but I put forward a good case.
You did. Right. I think we can do a glass screening.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
When's the next run to the lab?
What did it say? Tuesday?
Tuesday today.
It's Friday.
So-
But I don't think you'll get that turned around by Friday. It'll be next week.
Fair enough. All right, we'll crack on then.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need that little bit more luck with the glass in the clothing. We put all our eggs in one basket in many ways.
We're all hoping that that forensic result comes back positive. We're kind of in the lap of the gods.
Three months after a series of violent armed robberies, detectives still lack the evidence they need to corner their second suspect, Christy Cartman. Their best hope is to prove his balaclava was present at a key crime scene, and the test results have just come through.
The balaclava that was submitted, that was found in the Passat, that we already know has Christy Cartman's DNA on it.
Yep.
That was sent off for analysis with the glass.
Yep.
They've got 10 samples of glass, and of the 10 they've looked at, 9 of them match the type of glass that come from Brickell Road.
Exactly, so that's a high percentage of that glass is from that crime scene. That's an excellent result for us.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. Thanks, mate. You know, we had the balaclava that's come back and it's got glass fragments in it, and all the glass fragments are from Brickell Road, which is good. So how does it explain
And it's
that?
got Cartman's
So it's got
DNA.
Cartman's DNA.
Fucking awesome.
And they will have a second ace up their sleeves for the interview room. His DNA has also been found on the handbrake of the stolen Mini.
Now we had the forensics back for Cartman. Balaclava, the glass on his clothing, 9 out of 10 particles in his clothing come back to Stoke Holy Cross on that burglary. That's great, that really puts him there. We can interview Christy Cartman again. A couple of months ago, all the cards were in his hand. Things have changed now. It's now in our favour. We've got this evidence. If he chooses to say no comment, that plays to us, that plays right into our hands.
Armed with their new evidence, the detectives are ready to play their hand and confront Christy Cartman. But could Cartman even now escape charges if he can find a way to cast doubt on the evidence?
He spent the last couple of months in prison on remand, thinking about what's going to happen next. He knows how serious these allegations are. When he sat in his prison cell, he could have thought about all the possible scenarios of evidence we could collect and how he can explain each and every one.
There's all sorts of answers he come up with. He might be able to give an alibi or someone that can say he was elsewhere. I mean, he could perhaps say that I went to a friend's, I know he has a firearm licence and he showed me a gun. He might say, yes, I own lots of balaclavas, I happened to lose it around that time.
If the jury have a doubt, then the law says they should find them not guilty. So they can muddy the waters in any way they want.
The detectives will wait for the right moment to reveal their best cards. And this time, no comment won't be enough to save him.
Some noises, and says it's recording.
Okay, Christy, this interview is being recorded on the body worn camera.
So there's done various tests, and on the handbrake of this Mini, your DNA has been found. Can you explain this?
No comment. I don't. I'm always, I buy and sell cars. I'm always on little cars. But yeah.
So, or is it because you stole it?
Yeah. So the DNA was found in one of these cars.
Yeah, it's car.
Yeah. What DNA?
Your DNA from From
So,
touching something.
touching something.
And that's all
Because
that
this
happened.
driver here, if you can see, he's got a black pair of gloves on. So my DNA was in there, and you're saying that's me. My DNA shouldn't be on the handbrake if this person's me driving with a pair of black leather gloves or something on. Black gloves, which you can make that very clear. But there you go, yeah, go.
I see what you're saying, but
Why are you wearing gloves when you stole the car from Guernsey Road then?
do you know anything about this shotgun?
No.
No. Your DNA has been found on it.
Is it?
Can you give any explanation to that?
My DNA's on it, is it?
Yeah.
No.
You said you haven't touched it or seen it.
I don't know how many DNA's on it.
Do you own a balaclava?
Probably, yeah. I think somewhere along the line on balaclavas, yeah.
And why do you own a balaclava?
Go out fishing, you get cold. Balaclava on night fishing. Stop the gnats biting you.
So this balaclava, which is exhibit TFL 23, was also examined for glass, and it was found to contain a lot of glass shards from the glass door at Woodville Road, and the scientists have said that whoever was wearing that balaclava would have been present when that window was smashed. So we've got your DNA on the balaclava, and we know that that balaclava was present when the aggravated burglary. So did you smash that glass at Woodville Road?
comment.
Were you wearing that balaclava at that time?
No comment.
Is there any other reasonable explanation how you can explain this balaclava, which we know you've worn, being involved in this aggravated burglary?
No.
Do you see how this looks, Chrissy? That's what I'm saying. It's quite overwhelming, really, isn't it?
How was he?
He did a bit of talking. I think he was sort of
Yeah.
clutching at straws a little bit as to try and give explanations once all the evidence was put to him. But
Right, okay.
nothing that was worthwhile him trying to say, just some usual excuses.
Yeah.
Go back.
I think the evidence is too
The
strong
evidence
now.
is that strong.
It's a great feeling knowing that you've got all the cards. You've got the 4 aces in your hand, and there's absolutely nothing he can do about those 4 aces. You can't beat them. He's not going to come back with anything. And you enjoy that as an investigator. If you don't, you're in the wrong job.
Burglary in progress. Burglar is in the property. He has a crowbar. Oh my God.
Next time,
They took all my iPads and everything.
a one-man crime wave hits Norwich.
Beautiful Select 550 is all you stay away. Got the nearest DID unit at the moment about to apprehend him.